I'm Georgia Rose, your evolutionary astrologer. Wow, last week was quite a week. The energy was very intense. I feel like everything is just so accelerated. Like things are moving very, very quickly, personally and in the world. I can't help feeling that all the things that are occurring, even though they may seem subtle and they may seem like they're not really big, sudden surprises in the sense of their intensity. I feel like there's an awful lot of energy going on, kind of being orchestrated that's part of a much bigger process, especially to do with time and the way that time feels. And I think it's because our species, humankind, is really kind of getting quite an evolution on an accelerated level. From an astrological viewpoint, we have a lot of planets in the last degrees of signs. And the last degrees of signs, once you start hitting, 25, 26, on into 30, because there's 30 degrees in each house and each sign. Um, when we start getting into those degrees, what happens is we find that the intensity of that sign, that archetype, like the final degrees of Aquarius, the final degrees of Capricorn, that sign becomes more potent and becomes more amplified, is the word I'm looking for. So we have a lot of signs, a lot of planets right now in the last degrees of signs getting ready in 25 and 2026 to egress into a different sign. And when we have an energy like that in the sky, it can feel like tying up loose ends, but also if you really pay attention, you're going to notice that a lot of things repeat, a lot of energies repeat. And whenever I know where the energy originated from and where it's repeating, I do try to refer to that in my content. Like we have some energy coming in this month, which is very much an energy that was seeded or that was begun in February. So as a result of that, you'll see things, recycling, so to speak. So you will see in this energy, we have a lot of planets retrograde. We've got like 5 planets retrograde, Saturn, Neptune, Pluto, Chiron, and Uranus at one point this month. And when you have energy like that, it does tend to have do-overs because if we didn't learn the lesson the first time, and that lesson could just be pay attention to this particular thing or pay attention to a personality trait or a habit that you have, the energy will cycle back around so that we really have to pay attention to it. To give an example, maybe that you are overindulgent with food or money, or you overspend or you overthink or you over something. And then Jupiter will hit that part of the sky again, or will hit a transit that refers to that part of the sky where the first time you were taught or something came into your awareness about those things. And now when Jupiter goes either back over that degree or hits a planet that's at that original degree and they're talking and having a conversation, they're having a transit, sometimes that energy that you had of something being brought into your awareness will come back in. Same thing will happen with people, environments, structures, places. And so this month we do have Pluto finally going back into that 29th degree of Capricorn. So we're going to see a lot of things that were playing out over the last 15 years, especially since 2020, because that's when we had that great conjunction in Capricorn. You're going to see a lot of things start repeating, a lot of themes repeating. COVID is repeating a little bit. I'm noticing a lot more people, getting COVID. Things that came up during financial markets are repeating then. A lot of things are coming into the forefront. Really, really interesting. So even our political arena here in the United States is like almost like a repeat of some of the energies we had then. So I want to jump into September's energy, try and give you guys some dates to look out for. Want to talk about, particularly in this video, the first half of September, because we have a really big full moon, which starts eclipse season for us, in Pisces on September 18th. And that full moon in Pisces on September 18th will start as a lunar eclipse. So when we get closer to that energy this month, I'll be doing more content and more reports about that particular transit and the second half of September. There's so much going on. It's too much to do in one show. So today we're going to talk about that first half of September. Particularly, we have a new moon on the 2nd. But before that new moon comes in, guys, guess what? Pluto goes into Capricorn for its very final run, just only a few months. Pluto is in Capricorn. It's retrograded back there. and it will be there. Where's my card? This card, this cue card that I have, you guys always see me use them in the studio when I'm in Strong Island. Today I'm just in my home studio. But this card is my reminder of all these transits for September 24. And I'm just going to like show you on camera. That's how many transits alone are happening this month. This month is fast moving, very changeable. The messages that we're going to receive this month are all kind of themey and about one thing. But the themes will be things that you recognize that we've been talking about for a long time in the soul space and in my content, because this is a wrap up. This is like, with Pluto going back into Capricorn, it's like it's the final poke in the back. It's the final, like, hey, dummy, did you get it yet? That's really what the energy is about. And we'll talk a little more in detail about that. And we'll do that right now. So Pluto goes into Capricorn and it's at the anaretic degree, which is the 29th degree of a sign. Anytime something is at 29 degrees of a sign, we call it the anaretic degree. Now, whenever a planet is at an anaretic degree, it's very powerful and very amplified because it's usually taking all the energy. It started at the first degree of Capricorn back in 2008 and went all the way through all 29, 30 degrees of Capricorn until it reached 0 degree of Aquarius, where it went in January. And now the retrograde cycle comes in and it pushes it backwards a little bit into Capricorn. So that anaretic degree, when a planet is in it or has gone back to it because of a retrograde, is amplified because all of the energy that the planet was absorbing and feeling while it was going through that sign, all 29 degrees, is repeated. It's all in the archetype now. It's got all the information, it's got all the knowledge of all of those transits and everything it's done in the last 15 years, all in one ball of wax in that 29th degree. So when a planet goes into the anaretic degree or the 29th degree, it's said to have the wisdom and the energy of that whole sign and its transit or its journey in there. So in the last 15 years, last 10 years especially, we have seen the acceleration of humanity in all ways. So now all that stuff's going to repeat. And once Pluto comes out of that 29th, that anaretic degree of Capricorn, and goes into Aquarius for good, which in my lifetime, it won't be anyplace else. It's going to stay in Aquarius for about 26 years, maybe 30 years. Well, maybe, yeah, maybe 30 years. So if it's 30 years, I may see it in my lifetime. I hope I do. It's not that old. So just remember, it's going to repeat and give you the lessons. If you've been paying attention and you've done your work and you've done the lessons, you got nothing to worry about. If you've been ignoring the lessons, they're probably going to, come to roost, especially because, and this is the next thing, we have a new moon in Virgo. But what I wanted to finish that thought and just say, when Pluto does go into Aquarius in November, it starts a whole new cycle for all of us as far as Pluto goes. What is the essence of Pluto? Transformation. Deep, deep diving into transformation, like total metamorphosis. That's what Pluto does. You can see the way it metamorphoses to us in Capricorn and the themes of Capricorn, self-mastery, which is why we've had such a spiritual revolution. Structures, which is why our governments and our countries have changed. In the last 15 years, you've seen a lot of things merge and a lot of things become different, adopt different ways of life through their structures and government and cultures. So now in Aquarius, the themes are going to be technology. You're not just going to see AI, you're going to see super AI. You're going to see space and satellites. You're going to see off-planet energy. I would not be surprised if the fact that there is another species or another type of organism that wants to make itself known to us that is off-planet, we're probably going to know about that in the next 5 years or so. I really believe that, based on the acceleration of where the planets are. Also in Aquarius, you're going to have themes such as community and online communities, community and technology, like what we're building here with the Zenkuda community. That is absolutely going to accelerate in the next generation. So, think about how do those things play in for you, and maybe it's time for you to find an online community or find a group of people. I study astrology with people from all over the world, and it's beautiful. And we meet online every week, and we've gotten to be such a soul group. And I think that's the way now. It's going to be very scientific, very technological, the way that we build our communities. So that's what's going to happen when Pluto goes into Aquarius. And you're going to see that really start to take off. So look and see in your charts where Aquarius energy is. For me, that's in my third house of communication. So that's why, my business online has really been coming into another level. And the things that I want to do and utilize technology for are coming into another level, not just in my astrological and spiritual career, but also in my earthbound real estate career where things are accelerating and being done differently as well. So that's the Pluto story. So see where Capricorn and Aquarius, that cusp is in your chart. That's where all the activity is going to be between now and into, 2025. And also you want to look at where Virgo is in your chart because the next thing that's happening is we have a new moon in Virgo on September 3rd. And this new moon in Virgo is very powerful because it kind of ties in with what I'm talking about as far as all of the structures crumbling and the fact that Pluto in the last degrees of Capricorn is really pushing us to finalize these new ways that we want to look at things. And so a new moon in Virgo is industrious. It's a great time to get organized. Whenever the moon is in Virgo, I always try to clean stuff up and clean out drawers and closets because we have Jupiter in Gemini right now, which is communication. What you want to do with a new moon in Virgo is look at clearing out your communications. Not just the way you speak to yourself, which is very much a Virgo thing, criticism and self-critical, but you want to think about the way you speak to others. Where are you overcritical of others? You also want to think about using your words to heal and using your words when speaking to other people about how you can use your words to heal people and heal rifts and heal, conflicts in the world, right? Virgo energy is also really great for cleaning out, organizing, being the taskmaster of the zodiac, getting things done. You'll have extra energy to do that in this sky on the new moon on the 3rd. And also, the great thing about Virgo energy is it gives us that extra added attention to detail. We can really focus in Virgo energy to get those projects done. So you really want to look at that and make sure that you can do that. I'm just going to pull over my notes so I don't have to keep looking to the side. In a Virgo new moon. The other thing with a Virgo new moon is ask yourself where you can be of service to the world. Because Virgo is all about service to the world and helping others. And like I said, communication with Jupiter and Gem there. This is also cleaning out your communications as far as your emails, your message box on your social media. You want to clean up, your text messages. If you're looking during this new moon to set an intention for something new, this is also a great new moon for health. Virgo is much about health, setting new health routines, going to the gym, new diet, new food. Really great time to take care of the body when a new moon is in Virgo. So if you're thinking about any of those kind of things or a new relationship or a new environment, don't forget with a Virgo new moon and this cycle until we're in the full moon of the 18th of September, don't forget to clear out those old texts that, bring back memories that you don't really need to hold on to. The things from the old mates or, people who've passed over or whatever that you don't want to keep. Also, your phone, get rid of the old emails, texts, pictures, right? This is an energy where Virgo wants us to clean out. Virgo energy is the energy of the harvest. It's the fall time when we're approaching the fall equinox, which is going to happen on September 22nd, when the sun goes into Libra. So, and then we begin autumn officially. So, when the sun is in Virgo, that harvesting time, we want to take away what's good and nourishing, the wheat, and separate it from the chaff, the stuff that's not any good, the stuff we're going to throw in the garbage, the waste, the debris. And that's really the essence of Virgo. It separates the waste from what's meaningful. And a lot of times Virgo energy will come in when we're having a major transit in Virgo, like a new moon, and it will disrupt or remove something. We'll have a loss, in a Virgo energy, we'll have a loss. We'll have an abduction is the word I'm looking for. We'll have an abduction. Something will be taken away from us. But it does that because it's not meaningful, really. We think it is. It may hurt a little bit, But really, it does that to show us our own competency, that we can live without this thing. It could be, something that we're clinging to for not good reasons. That's typical Virgo energy. And so in this new moon, we have a beautiful time of the universe taking care of us and removing things from our life that maybe are really the waste or really something taking up space that is preventing something more meaningful and more beautiful and a way to expand more love in our life from coming in. So that's Virgo energy, and that's why it's very critical. The card in tarot that is the Virgo card, I'm going to see if I can bring it up from my tarot, is the Hermit card, and I'll show you online why it's the Virgo card. Virgo energy, here it is, the Hermit. Virgo energy, and this is the Hermit. You guys will probably know the card. It's the Hermit holding up the lantern, and he's looking at it, and he's got his staff in his hand. And the Hermit card is symbolizing Virgo energy because here is someone looking for perfection. They're trying to shine the light on perfection and what perfection is to them and what's meaningful. But if you look at the ground, it almost looks like they're walking on snow and they're hunched over, they're in detriment because they keep searching for perfection. But what this card is really about is the hermit who spends his whole life searching for perfection and not finding it and thinking nothing's good enough. And so they don't go out into the world. What they really need to do is shine the light on themselves and see the perfection within. And the fact that we are all perfectly imperfect. And isn't that the beauty of our own uniqueness? And that's why when Virgo new moons or Virgo full moons or any Virgo energy comes in very prominently, and we currently have other planets in Virgo, when that energy comes in, a lot of times it will make us hypercritical because we don't really want to look at what we need to get rid of. And we don't want to really look at an imperfection that may be perfectly imperfect for us. So, in the Virgo new moon, intentions to set, great intentions to set are for, seeing truth, for being able to clean out the debris, right? Set an intention for anything to do with health, whether it's mental, physical, mind, soul, body. Um, and allow yourself that beautiful energy of surrendering to Mother Earth and beautiful moon and allowing them to speak to you. Go outside in the new moon and just think about what is meaningful to you and what do you need to shed, like the skin, the snakes shedding their skin, they do that because they have a beautiful skin underneath. So think about that and bring that into your life. And then I also wanted to say, remember, I promised that I would tell you guys when the transits bring back energy from a prior time. This new moon brings back peak energy cycle from February 28th this year. February 28th, we had the sun conjuncting Saturn. And now during this new moon cycle, I think it's a day after, the sun is squaring Saturn. So let me look at my chart. So when the sun is squaring Saturn, that brings back the energy of when the sun and Saturn were first together, it ignited an energy. And now when they're square and they're in an energy of tension, that is the opening square that asks something of us. So whatever was going on in your life, February 28th, before you delete your texts and your emails, look at that date, see what you were doing, and see it if it comes around and applies again, or if there's something you didn't finish, or if there's something you really need to look at from that day, because or date or around that time, give or take a few days, either way, because it will recycle. Because the sun is opposite Saturn on the 8th. So full moon comes in on the 3rd. It stirs up that energy a little bit. You've got Virgo energy coming in, which can be, really looking at things, wanting them to be perfect. You may get an urge to finally clean out the closet or sweep off the porch, get all those debris. And then we go through some other cycles, which I'll go with you in a minute. So this new moon is at 11 degrees of Virgo. Look on your chart. What do you have that's 11 degrees of Virgo? Okay. Mars squares Neptune on the same day. Mars squaring Neptune is an energy of sometimes can be rose-colored glasses. If you've been in a relationship and you thought it was really great, in a Mars square Neptune, which occurs on the 3rd of September, and you'll feel that energy a few days before and a few days after, in an energy like that, the rose-colored glasses come off, and you'll start to actually see, this isn't as good as I thought it was. Mars will make you want to take action on it, but Neptune won't really let it happen because you're still in a little bit of illusion, because Neptune makes us foggy. So when Mars squares Neptune, it's very hard for us to understand what the right action to take is. That energy will dissipate, but we just have to go through it. And then on the 4th, we have Venus opposite the North Node. Um, Venus opposite the North Node is an energy of the things we love and desire and really want. The South Node is on Venus. So what happens is it takes away the energy of it. So we may have a strong desire or a strong knowing of what it is and what we want. And then around the 4th of September, all of a sudden that kind of dissipates a little bit. And we start to think, oh, I'm not really sure. Do I really want this? Well, you know what? I don't have the energy to go get it. And you set these new moon intentions, and then you wake up a couple of days or a day later and you're like, I don't think I could do the goal, but just write it out because that energy will change. But with the South Node in there, just going to look at my chart with Venus, it can be an energy of, you know, sapping the strength. And I know because the South Node passed over my son just recently, and I was just drained all the time. And I said, gosh, what is it? I'm eating enough protein, I'm drinking enough water, I'm just drained. South Node sometimes is an energy field a memory field that will drain us a little bit. Um, and then Mars enters Cancer on the 4th, which is the day right after that new moon in Virgo. Mars in Cancer is an energy that can give us, it's an energy. I'm just gonna it's a little hard to explain because Cancer can be ethereal. It's ruled by the moon. So Mars in Cancer can give us the feeling that we want to take action about our emotions. It makes us want to kind of act out. It makes us want to act out in a way that is sociable and loving, or completely isolating, and we're going in our shell and the world is a scary place. So with Pluto in Capricorn and Mars in Cancer, they're going to oppose each other at some point. And the thing of it is that Mars stays in Cancer this time around for a very long time. Usually Mars will spend like 3 to 4 weeks in a sign. Mars is going to be in Cancer until November. So let me just go over with you a little bit about, I'm going to look on my notes, about the Mars in Cancer energy. So, sorry, I'm turning my pages. So Mars in Cancer will oftentimes make us want the truth because it's the moon and it's integrity and it's the way that we, find our nurturing, our what's real to us, our safety, our home within. So a lot of times with when Mars is in Cancer, it can make us feel like we want to do something and act out something or pursue something or take an action for something to stabilize our own security. But what you want to do with Mars in Cancer is stabilize your inner security. So it's a great time to be assertive about your own agency, your own authority, what is integrity to you. And it's also a great time to actually have a conversation instead of going in the shell like the crab, instead of isolating. It's a great time for you to sit down and have some heartfelt conversations because Cancer energy is big-hearted energy. It's compassion. So when Mars is there, we have the opportunity to find a lot more compassion in the world, but we have to be present to do that. We have to stay connected. And a lot of times Cancerian energy makes us want to, pull the covers over our head like the little crab. So make sure with that Mars in Cancer, you're asking yourself, what is really for my best interest? What is really going to make me safe? Is going home and pulling the covers and not talking to this person and giving them the cold shoulder and acting crabby going to keep me safe? No, that's a false sense of self-preservation, which will happen because Neptune was involved with that square with Mars in Cancer. So you want to make sure that you're really using the highest octave of Cancer energy, which is this beautiful, big-hearted, open, finding your joy within, finding your inner landscape to stabilize you, etc. And then on the 7th, now we're going into the week. Now the 7th, Mercury squares Uranus. When Mercury squares Uranus, September 7th is a day. We're coming off the Labor Day weekend then. We're back to school and back to work. When I see, Mercury squaring Uranus, I always say to myself, that's a good day not to talk a lot. That's a good day to say what you need to say with few words, because when Mars squares Uranus, it's our energy, it's our aggression. It can be warlike. And Uranus right now is in Taurus, which is it's got a lot of conversations going on with a lot of other planets. So with Uranus squaring Mercury, you really want to make sure your communication is premeditated. because in an energy where Mercury and Uranus are having a conversation of tension, that's an energy where things will get blurted out. Things will be said that people didn't mean to say. Emails will be sent that shouldn't have been sent. You'll be talking privately to someone in your company, and all of a sudden you hit everyone in the company and they get the email. Or, things like that will happen around a Mercury square Uranus. And that's the 7th. And that energy will be with us a few days before and a few days after. So be really careful what you say and what you communicate in that energy. Also, when Mercury is squaring Uranus, because Uranus is in Taurus, that can be money. It could be the financial markets. It could also be food supplies, because that's also, an earth sign. So around that time, after Labor Day weekend into the 7th, that's when you're probably going to see some communications come out about things that are very unexpected. And on the 8th, that's the day that the sun opposes Saturn. And that's the energy that repeats from February 28th. Now, with these kind of transits, also ask yourself, was there something going on around February 28th where I misspoke, or I had an argument, or I said something, or what was going on in the media or globally around February 28th that maybe more information is going to come out with Mercury squaring Uranus? Because that's the energy of all those planets interplaying. Something that happened in the beginning of the year in February repeats. We get more communication about it. It's a limitation. It's a restriction because the sun is opposing Saturn, which is our authorities, and that will happen. But also the energy can be used to help us break out of our limitations and restrictions, because Uranus wants us to be liberated. And that's what a lot of these conflicts have been about. They've been about conflict resolution to become more liberated. That's why the conflicts are arising. So in there and do the things that the universe is showing us. And I will be back here next week on the Soul Space. And I just want to thank everyone who's been supportive of my work. If you're looking for a reading, zenkuda.com, you can book directly on the site. It actually gives you the appointment and everything. And I'll see you out there. Watch for my lives on Zenkuda Official on Facebook, and Zenkuda Official on Instagram, and Zenkuda Soul Space on Facebook. Love you all. Have a beautiful week. Bye-bye. My new website, zenkuda.com. Hi, everybody. It's Georgia Rose from Zenkuda, and here is our beautiful new website, zenkuda.com. So I want to show you a little bit and give you a tour of this beautiful site that we have. And everything is all in one place now, and you can do everything Zenkuda right on our website. So when you log into the homepage, there's a little space here where you can go right to Zenkuda Astrology, online classes, or book a reading or coaching session with me. Not only do I offer astrology readings and coaching sessions, but I also do tarot work and all kinds of things to help you get in touch with your own soul space and living Zenkuda. There's also a place here where I describe my journey and what it was like for me to actually found the Zenkuda community and be able to bring you all of the healing techniques that we do and the philosophies of evolutionary astrology, spiritual wisdom, and yoga. And you can read about what my journey was like. And in addition to that, if you go on to book a reading, you can actually book a reading for any session that you really would like to have. For instance, a 1-hour astrology chart reading, a tarot card reading. I also do synastry chart readings for couples. And I can also do a long distance healing meditation and Reiki session. And you can even purchase our Circle of Light Oracle cards, which were created by myself in order to put healing and light into your day. If you go back up, there's also a space where we're going to be putting our online classes. Those will be very, very soon. If you'd like to be informed about those online classes about astrology and spirituality, yoga, all sorts of things, you can join our wait list and just give us your email, and we'll be sure to let you know exactly when classes will be starting. And this button here brings you right to the Soul Space podcast. You can now watch the Soul Space live or past Soul Space podcast right on our zenkuda.com page. You can listen to them on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or on YouTube and enjoy every minute and never miss a show. So I hope you'll look at this beautiful website. I'm also writing blogs about my journey, and we're in the process of importing all the older blogs that I've written in the last 5 to 10 years right on our Rose blog page, which is my beautiful blog. And you can, anytime you want, just come in and read all about my own journey to finding Zenkuda. If you want to work with me in a small or large group, or book me for reading, or doing a gallery style reading, or a public speaking event, or even a retreat, you can do that on our Work with Georgia page. And hopefully we can help you create your future with some coaching or some astrology workshops. So that is our beautiful zencuda.com site. I hope you'll be on there. We're also developing a space for community on there where you can learn more about astrology and spirituality and all kinds of things, and we can support each other on our beautiful, beautiful journey to finding our own soul space and living Zencuda.